are you doing?
Yeah, can I just have like 2 seconds?
No, yeah, take your time.
Get off at 6:30 and I just needed a couple minutes to wrap some stuff up. So I'm just like getting a couple things set up and then I'll be good to go.
Okay. No problem. Oh.
Did you get the Slippy files I sent you?
I did not.
Oh, let's see. Okay,
Okay, cool.
just
I just
resent
got
it.
them.
I see it like failed initially. So yeah, okay, I'm good now. We can get into it.
Okay, nice.
Um, Pretty much, yeah. Box Dittos was just I don't know. The more I just feel like in Georgia specifically, there's just like 5 or 6 like not PR'd but below PR'd and not that far off level foxes that I'm just constantly running into in bracket. Um, and I feel like it's just kind of something that I need to sort of like to sort of get to where I need to be. Like a good first step would be not losing to all of those foxes, if
Mhm.
that makes sense.
No, I think that definitely makes sense.
So, I've been working on Puff, and I have been feeling some progress, but definitely it's just like I need a lot more Puff
Experience,
experience.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
and
experience is
game.
super important with Puff. Too many little dumb things can happen that like actually matter that you kind of just have to feel out.
No, yeah, but it's kind of the thing. It's at that point where when I'm playing my games against Puff, I know what I'm looking for, and it's just more about experience implementation. You know, going off of like instincts and reactions versus like having to think. Um, but yeah, so for the Fox Ditto, it's a weird matchup. I
I
feel like
agree.
it's a matchup that it's funny because it's not one that I would consider my best, but all of my like a lot of my best local wins have been in the Ditto, and I feel like I've like beaten like all the foxes that I would need to beat that aren't PR.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like I don't think it's a matchup where I feel like I'm also like still liable to kind of lose to people. Um, Maybe even like worse than me if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sent you 2 VODs of me playing Super Sponge. Just he's like I think he's like 3 on the PR in like South Carolina.
Mhm.
Um, so I was just playing him on NetPlay, and I just chose like 2 games that I lost. I have more Slippy files too, but normally we don't even get through one game.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. I guess before we get into it, I'll start streaming too. But I know you mentioned that like you think the Fox Ditto is kind of like a weird matchup, and I agree. But I guess I want to ask why you feel that way before we get into it, just so I know where we're at. Where you're at.
Um, so I just feel like whenever when I'm like thinking about the Fox Ditto, like I have like a general idea of like I know what I want, and like once I get my opening, once I get my grab, or like I get a knockdown, it's like it feels pretty straightforward, like you're just comboing a spacey.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's just like I feel like there's so much like counterplay and like defensive options that turn into counterattack that like the line between like following up on your combo and like overextending can feel really blurred sometimes.
Mhm.
Like I have a hard time gauging like okay, like I've knocked him this far away and he's at this percent. If I try to jump up, he's going to like aerial me or he can shine me. Or like there are occasions where like I'll get shined out of my combo attempts, things like that.
Mhm.
Um and then edge guarding is pretty hard for me. I feel like I'm my biggest like pull is probably my edge guarding, I would say. But that's sort of like my general feelings on the matchup. And if you, I can definitely get into like what my general like things I'm looking for are if you want me to go over that stuff too.
Sure. Why not?
Um, so low percent. I mean, for me, I'm like it's all about drill.
Yeah.
Um, all about drill and shine and just like tech chasing.
Mhm.
Like you drill, you shine, you get a grab in neutral. You know, it's pretty much for like I'm trying to get a knockdown, which like drill is the easiest way to get a knockdown. I feel like in neutral
Mhm.
because of just drill shine. Um, and then the like once I get them knocked down, I'm trying to get a tech chase grab. And then maybe like an up smash if they're at a percent where I can combo off of it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty much just like all I'm thinking about is like knock it down in tech chase or grab and like a grab follow up slash like plat tech chase or all the stuff that you get off grab or maybe back throw in cheese or forward throw go for an early kill, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that's sort of like generally what I think. And then I would say like I try to always like I'm not the best at it. Like sometimes I'll watch back my VODs and I'm like more stationary than I should be,
Mhm.
but I'm telling myself to just always be moving because you both have like so much speed, and I feel like if one person's always kind of like always dash dancing, like the difference between standing at a good spacing and dash dancing at a good spacing is like monumental.
Mhm.
At least that's what I think. So I'm always trying to dash dance and remember to like not be in one place even if I'm like standing at a range where like I can react to their tech and up smash or grab. If I'm dash dancing in place at that same spot while they're deciding how they're going to tech, it just makes things better and more ambiguous.
Mhm.
uh, that's about it though for what I think.
Oh yeah. I think that all makes sense, and most of it I agree with. Um, the one I guess qualm I have is I think that with the position that you just brought up with like the tech stuff, I think if you have the opportunity to like actually tech chase, it's probably in your best um interest to like be stationary just because that makes it easiest to like hit the tech chase accurately. But I think if
Mm.
it's like a mix-up position where it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna get there in time, can't really hit the tech chase the way I need to without like maybe going for a read, then I think moving around is really good because they don't know what's gonna happen. It's hard to deal with, and all that stuff. So, but otherwise, I think everything you said was good, and I definitely agree with it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then another thing I would say, um, I don't think I hit quite hard enough.
Mm.
Um, I feel like the way that a lot of people I've talked to about the Ditto, because we have a lot of foxes, is that like the general thing that I get is like I'm good in neutral, but like I feel like there are a lot of games and like sets that I've even had where I've talked to people, and it's kind of like if you look at who won neutral more, it's like even or maybe I'm even up,
Yeah.
but who like the punish just wasn't there. You know, like I had a set recently with I got like 3-0'd by Den at a tournament, and afterwards he was like, I feel like you were just like I just hit you way harder even though you were like winning in neutral,
Yeah.
and like that feels like that's the only reason I won. And it was just like one of those moments where I was just like, man, I need to like really figure out where in my like combo tree that I'm dropping things or like
Mm-hmm.
where I'm choosing the wrong move.
Yeah.
So I guess like definitely like looking at spots when I maybe have the opening. And like I'm not necessarily focused about like where I drop a tech chase because like it just kind of like happens and I know my tech chases like I'm constantly practicing. They're gonna get better with time.
Yeah.
But more like why'd you do that? Why'd you do that aerial kind of thing? You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That sounds good. We could definitely talk about that. I have a ton of thoughts on Fox combo game, and I definitely think. I mean, this is something like Cody says, a lot, and it's like Q's like honestly, you could ignore neutral for 3 years and exclusively practice punish, and that'll be like a very valid way of improving. Because at the end of the day, it's like if you don't kill them when you win neutral, probably doesn't matter that you won neutral, you know. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so I
it's
definitely
funny.
think combos are big.
I feel like I'm more inclined to like think about neutral than think
Mm-hmm.
about like naturally. I feel like that's just like all matchups. That's kind of like where my brain energy naturally goes. I'm constantly like when I'm even when I'm solo practicing, like I practice like bread and butter, like punish stuff, but never like crazy extensions or like very super specific like EI coverage stuff. I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm always thinking of like if I'm on this position, like I could maybe do this like waveland bait or like things like that. Like that's kind of just more like where I'm inclined to sort of like think things out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do think it's time to just like really kind of hammer down some of the punish stuff.
Yeah. Being good at comboing makes it easier to play neutral. And I mean, I'm the same way as you, where it's like, I spent the first, Lord knows, what is it, 6 years of me playing Melee being like, yeah, whatever, I don't really care about combos, I'll learn neutral. And then, that was all fine and dandy, but there's a point where I was like, man, everyone I play against, neutral is the easiest thing ever, and I still find myself losing. How is that even, like, remotely possible? Or it's like I have to whenever I play against anyone, I'm like, there's just they can't beat me in neutral. But then it's like the games are so close. It's like combos.
I was talking to someone the other day, and they were like, when you get, it's like you find your openings. It's like when you get your hit, it feels like you have no idea what you're gonna do after you get your hit. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like you're just like vibing out and just like you get your grab or whatever, and then it's just like let's see what happens versus like having a plan or like
Yeah.
or like a percent based like idea based on like oh they're at this percent I want to do this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think having a plan is super important too. I remember one thing I always tell Noel this because I think he's really good neutral, but his combos and execution stuff ends up being like not that great. And so I tell him like when you look at combos, I think what your goal should be at any given point once you've established the basics, right? It's like the basic flowchart or whatever. It's like you need to think about what is the fastest, most efficient way to get someone to death, and that should be like what you're worried about at every given point, right? It's like I hit someone with like an up air in a certain position at 40%, and I'm immediately like, what is the one move I can pick that'll put me closer to killing them than like otherwise, right? So
Yeah.
I definitely agree with like the plan stuff, but I also think you can't really do that until you know all of the trees within like the general what's it called, um, whatever the fuck the word is, I forgot, but yeah, and we could establish baseline of that and talk more about it. But plans are massively important for comboing. You're not gonna like be able to execute a thing you have never done, right?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my combos are like kind of different from day to day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes I'm like using one move more than the other,
Yeah.
and like I mean, there's like obviously I know, but like there's like chain grabbings. There's very basic like follow ups that I'm going for, but nothing like really nothing that really I would say constitutes a flow chart. And I feel like this is a matchup where like you can kind of get your grab and really like not flow chart it out because there's so much like defensive and positional stuff that makes a difference. But you know what I'm saying?
You
Like
have a really
really,
good idea.
yeah,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I
You just gotta
agree.
like maybe look out for slide offs depending on the position, or look out for certain things that can be made awkward by like the stage positioning. But
Yeah, I definitely think in the Ditto, this is the punish game in this matchup is one of the matchups where I think that you could sit down and watch yourself play and be like, before the before you pick the move while doing the combo, you could in your mind guess what move you're gonna do and like actually be right every single time. Like it's like
yeah,
the things that you do are concrete enough to where it could like be a replicable thing. Whereas like maybe Peach, once you get Peach and like you hit Peach a certain amount of times, you're just playing a raw mix up, and so it's guesses either way.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Well, I'm streaming. Or can you see and
yeah,
everything
yeah.
is
I'm
okay?
seeing it.
Okay. Nice. And which one are you? Blue Fox?
I'm blue.
Okay, cool. That was really funny. You definitely missed your dash, and I respect rocking with it because it's like you can react to the crouch pretty easily. But I
Yeah,
think, yeah, it's just you messed up. I like your attempt. You
Yeah,
tried to shine too, which I think was really good.
that's the other. There's like I think I'm more liable to make maybe a tech skill flub or two in this matchup because it's just so much more fast paced.
Yeah, there's so much happening. Mm-hmm. I don't like this up tilt. I think you probably could have done that grab in a way where it would have like hit, like if you dashed for like a frame or two longer. But that's like whatever. I'm not gonna hound about it. But I think this up tilt was definitely like you weren't thinking ahead. You saw that you whiffed a grab. You knew that it wasn't hitting, but it was like, well, at that point, once you realize that the grab isn't hitting, you kind of have to think like, what are the most likely things that could happen, right?
Yeah.
And like, you saw one of the things, but what do you feel like generally are the most likely outcomes after you like, whiff on someone?
Um, getting getting grabbed, getting shined,
Mm-hmm.
maybe up smashed. Those are the things that come to mind.
Yeah, I agree with those. Do you think about any like defensive options it would take if they like, you tried to or you tried to like wolf punish them and you missed and they wanted to defend themselves, right?
Well, there's spot dodge. There's like they'll be maybe trying to hit a clean like dash back,
Yeah.
catch me not getting a frame perfect punish. Um, shield.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm just grabbing, yeah, I feel like after you grab, like double grab is quite the thing.
Yes.
So maybe they'll maybe try to shield, go for a shine out of shield.
Mm-hmm.
Fox has really good out of shield options. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with all of those, and I think that like once you look back at the subtilt you did, I feel like everything you listed just beat the subtilt. Either they move out of the way or it just doesn't hit right.
So yeah, I feel like the up tilt is more like I whiffed a grab. Um, maybe they're gonna try and like come in and hit me. Uh, and maybe they won't be on time, and this up tilt will hit. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean
Kind
that
of
makes
more
sense.
like a panic, like oh I whiffed, let me up tilt, and like maybe they'll all hit them. And my bet would be that the turnaround on the up tilt was an accident. I don't think I was. I don't think I was trying to turn around up tilt there. I mean, I clearly saw that they rolled.
Yeah.
I think I was probably reacting to the roll, and I was like, they're behind me. They're gonna come in and try to hit me. Let me up tilt.
Mm-hmm. I
But
think.
I guess the timing on that, given like how long roll takes and everything, like it's not really gonna work out. And also, it's like a very like not percent cognizant option because they're just gonna CC shine that at this percent.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like all things considered, this up tilt ended up not making the most sense just because it's like, even if you didn't mean to turn around, it's like, oh well, they're kind of spaced, and you might not be able to, you might know exactly where they are, and you're also worrying about other things, right? Because when you whiff the grab, you're thinking, what if they're shining me? What if they're shielding? And you're up tilted. What if they're dashing out of the way, right? So it's like you're actively engaged in a mix up, and you're worrying about those options, and then on top of all of that, the frame advantage was like kind of ambiguous from like you coming out of your grab lag and the fox rolling and whether you could like hit him or not, right? And so technically up tilt was out before he was like out of roll lag, but all those things combined in my head, I see like I would with this grab and I'm like either crouching right here just because like I want to hold the position and crouching is like relatively safe or whatever, or I'm like dashing back or full hopping, right? I'm picking something that's like more conservative, I guess.
Yeah, I think full hopping is probably the most intuitive option for me.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not like that. I think full hopping a platform and just kind of using platforms to try to reset neutral um, is probably the play that I would go for if I was not a bit thinking a bit harder about the situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's important to recognize that there's a lot of spots that come up like this where it'll be like something's kind of like happening and it's kind of like a scramble and you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but like you have to like think ahead a bit to determine what you think the most likely outcomes actually are.
Yeah, I think the speed of this matchup, kind of like what I was saying before, like I have a bit of a difficult time assessing like how much disadvantage I am in or how much advantage I was in.
Hmm.
And I would say that sometimes, like if I whiff a grab, on not it's not crazy for me to throw out a panic option, which is what I would consider that up tilt.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah, I agree. I think that makes sense. Um, I do think that it is possible to, with time and like looking at the situations more precisely, like after the fact, that you could like determine, you could like make patterns essentially for like what it looks slash feels like to actually
Yeah.
be in enough disadvantage for it to be bad, or like be in a good position actually, stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, yeah, it's just another thing that I've been pushing myself to do specifically is like playing foxes that are better than me because I've realized that um foxes below a certain like speed threshold
Mhm.
and like pretty much below a certain like skill level, I feel like I just kind of like dominate. But as soon as the fox is like, I would say a touch above me technically or speed wise,
Yeah.
it takes me time to kind of like grasp what's happening. Like I don't know if you remember when we played,
Mhm.
but when we played, we played like 6 or 7 games, and you were like 4 or 3 stalking me like every time.
Mhm.
And then you like went to the bathroom, and I remember sitting there like having a moment of like, okay, like I'm not gonna get 4 stalked again.
Yeah.
Like I had that moment of like, okay, like I just got shit on, like tighten up, like think about what just happened, and like try to just not have that happen again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember the games like after you just like getting up for a second and me having that time to sort of like assess and like think about the speed of everything. Like, you're still like beating me, but it felt a lot better.
Hmm.
I don't think it was as lopsided, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the thing is when I'm playing these better foxes or faster foxes in bracket, I don't have that time to make those adjustments.
Hmm.
And if I'm not like plugged into that speed, I just kind of lose. So, the panic option, like all of this is pretty much just say like I find myself when I'm like playing a fox who's better than me, which I think Sponge is definitely better than me.
Yeah.
Like I'm more liable to kind of like get that feeling of like I'm gonna like get punished for my mistakes here and like maybe throw out an uncharacteristic option or two.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I don't like that up tilt, for example, isn't like it's not in my flow chart. Like I whiff grab, I up tilt.
Yeah.
It's more
Definitely.
like, good. I'm playing a good fox that like I know is like above a certain level, and like I'm I might try throwing shit at the wall because the I feel like the better you get, like the Fox Ditto just becomes so like mix up heavy. Like the interactions are like have so many different ways of like branching off.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I think maybe it's like a mix of like experience stuff, but just like I guess it's more of like a general thing. I just kind of wanted to bring up that I'm feeling in the Ditto.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely think it's really easy to feel super overwhelmed in the Ditto, even when the fox is like slightly faster than you, because at some point, once you like start getting outpaced, it's like you're pressing buttons for situations that just happened, and the fox is already off playing the next one, and it like feels very like
Oh,
claustrophobic.
oh yeah. No, I guess I don't know if it's like necessarily worth taking like a big step back on this, but what would you say are like your general things? Like, because I'm sure like at all levels there's gonna be a fox that's faster than you.
Yeah.
Like, what are your general rules of like, um, if you're playing someone that you know that just like maybe plays a bit like faster, like how do you what's your sort of like approach if you ever feel like you're kind of getting like outsped in the matchup? Like there's obviously like get faster, which like I'm obviously trying to do. I'm like constantly practicing and all of that, but like
Mhm.
on a general level, if I run into a fox that I know is just gonna kind of have an extra step on me, like is there like a general thing that you could think of like how to handle that?
I think taking advantage of Fox's good like defensive options will help a lot. So it could be like using shield more often. It's really hard for Fox to actually beat shield meaningfully, he can only grab you. And his pressure, sure, his pressure is good, but you have Fox shine on his shield, and Fox isn't the best at covering rolls without hard committing. A lot of it if he's directly on top of your shield. And so shield's a great way. I think CC is also a great way, and generally the way that I like feel about it when I'm playing against the Fox that people consider fast and likes to do things. I'm always like really keen on checking what times they actually like are gonna do something. Because one thing that Fox is good at in the Ditto is like when he reads the Fox coming in, he can, if he's right, he can just like up smash or like get a super big move that just like immediately starts your best combo, right? And so at the end of the day, if I'm playing against someone who's fast and I want to like stop them, I'm super duper duper attentive to them being aggressive and me having like good risk reward counterplay for it, you know?
Mm,
Um,
okay.
that's like generally how I approach playing a Fox that's like, considered fast and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely have a couple of. We have like two really fast foxes
Mm-hmm.
that that I play a lot that are PR'd, and like I'm constantly like kind of grasping at straws. They're both like I would say it's like the short hop foxes.
Oh, short hop Foxes are evil. I hate.
It it's definitely it's the short hop foxes that I would say I struggle with. If we're doing like a full like I would consider this guy a full hop fox more.
Yeah.
He's more like he feels he's more like similar in style to me in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see like the foxes that are like in your face with like nairs and like short hop mix ups and like every time they're doing a running shine they're hitting like a perfect fast fall aerial right after, like
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones where I'm kind of like what just happened to me, how am I in this position, how do I get out of it, um which is definitely the two that are coming to mind. um
Yeah.
so but
Uh, I I do. I forgot to mention one thing, but something really important is that you could just ignore Fox jumping. If he's like the thing that makes Fox different from other characters is like when Fox jumps, it's not like he has a bunch of range. It's not like he can travel that far of a distance with his jump. It's like if he's just like doing short hop fade back aerials over and over, you have no obligation to interact with it. And I
mhm,
think feeling pressured by, I think it's very common to either feel pressured to do something or like either, punishing it or like feeling pressured to like defend against it. But like in terms of threat range, I think that's something we talked about in our first lesson. It's like if the Fox can't directly hit you, you really do not have to worry about anything. And you could just stand on the other side of the stage, let them whiff a million, like, you know, short hop aerials in place and just like jump to side platform, then transition to center, or like one of the times when they're just kind of mashing their aerials in place, you could full hop over them and come down on top of them. Or if you really want to read it, you could run up and up smash it. Right? It's like you don't have to do anything about it until you want to because it's not like presenting a direct threat to you.
yeah.
And I think that's something I've struggled with is I play against those foxes and I'm like, my thing has always been like I'm going to interact as much as I can whenever I can because it's like I might as well read my opponent if I'm playing melee, and so it's like I run into those foxes and I'm like, all right, time to read the fox naring in place, but then Fox is so fast that there's so many different ways you could nair in place, and then I end up like getting hit in positions where I like slightly misread them or whatever. But it's like I didn't even have to play an interaction. There's no reason for me to play one, and they could just like do their little buttons.
I do better on stages with plats
Mm-hmm.
against players like that because you can sometimes really catch them lacking with like a falling up air or
I
something, or
agree.
full hop mix ups, like full hop like no fast fall drill. It's something I really like doing against people that are just like kind of like maybe brainlessly doing like it's never brainless, but doing like a lot of the short hop aerial stuff.
Yeah.
But FD, when I'm playing like FD against a fox like that, I'm just like, what's happening? It can be pretty brutal.
It's
But
really hard, honestly.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I,
I kind of I do want to get more out of the VOD.
yeah, Dashback. Another up tilt at low percent. That's probably not the best. Doesn't do much. I like that you went to center. Wow. I think a lot of your neutral ideas are good. The way you're positioning and like what you're worried about has been good so far. It's like, oh, you go to center stage. I think. Or you go.
So the just one thing about the up tilt.
Yeah.
The up tilt is more like trying to catch them coming in with a like aerial than like dash in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that up tilt that you just saw like hit into a shine is more what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about like, oh, he's gonna come in with like a drill or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch it with an up tilt. If like I'm in the corner, I'm constantly like, oh, he's gonna try and like drill shine me or something.
I think that makes sense. For what it's worth, I think that works better with like full hops specifically. Short hops it's a bit more awkward / inconsistent. And so the way that I like generally tend to interact with those is like slightly different. Is I'll do like, you know, maybe short hop late bear stuff, or like, you know, using full hop to interact with it more so than up tilt. But like if you're using it for like when they're more vertical, like whether it's a full hop or coming off side platform, I think that up tilt, even at low percent's a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is something that I think is definitely important to be good at. Being good at like reacting to all the different DIs Fox could do when he could either DI off the plat or stay on it. Yeah, because it's not about slide off specifically. It's just like if he goes off the plat, you have to either re-grab him or hit him. But if he stays on the plat, you have to like react well and then have good execution on like the up air tech chase. You know?
Yeah, I'm not the best platform tech chaser. So I've been thinking a lot about back throw recently and kind of integrating it in some spots like this.
I think back throw is good sometimes. I think the times when I really think back throw is good are more spots where you're right here and Fox is incentivized to like actually DI to the platform, because when you're right here, Fox is, from like the defending Fox's perspective, the hard part to hit is reacting to whether he stays on the platform with a DI that goes right here or DIing all the way off. And that like both of those DIs lose to back throw, right? But when you're like right here, up throwing Fox, and he's trying to defend, him DIing to the platform and teching in some way is the hardest thing to cover, whether it's inconsistent because it's a 50-50 inherently, or because executionally it's really difficult, right? And so I think that's also, you know, this is like a kind of a sub thing that's important for combos, is like understanding what the person wants to do, like as a defender the most. And then using that to guide what you want to do. Because if someone's DIing in, I love up smashing. Someone's DIing out, I would rather die than up smash, right? And that's like, that's gonna like be what guides how I pick my decisions, not like, you know, what I want to happen, right? But I think it's hard to hit this reaction specifically because it takes a lot of focus to hit the up air tech chase, but then to be like, wait, I have to not up air tech chase anymore is like, and this isn't a percent where you could just like be lazy about it and maybe up throw nair because it's whatever easy. It's like you have to like re-grab or up smash because he's not at knockdown percent, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's really important to like not let him hit the ground first, because you don't want to have to do that where you retech in place or like have to tech chase. You just want to get the combo, you know?
Yeah.
That's something definitely worth practicing. I've put so much time into it, and I remember before I quit, I was really good at it, and I was like, wow, it makes comboing so much easier when I just hit this every single time. Because this is like a super duper meta defensive decision. It happens almost every single time.
No, that's like an interaction that'll happen no matter the Fox.
Yeah. Nice. Sure. I like the shine stall. The bear was good. I want to see the sledge grab. No, okay, you grabbing ledge sword's good. He definitely could have side beat. Cool. That was a good first stock though. I think you played most of it pretty well. Good. That was also good invincibility, good grab. wave landing. I actually think you shouldn't wave land here because you do the wave land to like read tech rolls, right? But like at generally you do them. I guess how I inform whether I want to wave land or not is when if I decide to tech chase from below with rising up air on the tech rolls, when that stops giving me a good combo, I'd probably rather like waveland grab or waveland up tilt.
I see.
Yeah.
So like at lower or mid percents, where like if I'm getting that up air, I'm getting a follow up.
Yeah.
It's just better to stick to the up air.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that for Fox at least, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because you know you get an upper at 30, up air, falling up air, maybe you get a nair, DI in, shine off stage, cover side B, they're dead. That's like just the thing that happens. Yeah.
Sure. I think I'm. Yeah, I feel like I'm maybe more like looking for the up air a little harder against Falco rather than Fox, but I'm not sure why.
Mm-hmm.
Some I feel like what it is like um against Falco, I have this like belief that if I back air them like off of a side plat off stage at like 70, I'm like I could really get a kill here.
Yeah.
But against Fox, I'm like so much less confident in the edge guarding, and some of the edge guarding reversals can just mean like you're in the corner and it's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I think like some of my combo decisions are like me being like me kind of like of maybe like trying to like not go into a situation where I'm not as good, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think that if we could work on your Fox edge guarding confidence, that would help a lot. Because I think, in my opinion, edge guarding Fox is at least 2 times easier than edge guarding Falco. Falco's side B is so evil, and it's like,
Dude, I think that's crazy. No, the thing is like I play Falco so much. I play Falco a lot,
mm-hmm.
and so I feel like my gauge of side B is like really strong.
Yeah.
And I'm not really like the only time I ever feel like I'm getting clipped by a side B or something is because I like overextended.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at like feeling out like oh like I have like a thing like I can just feel like they're gonna side B here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hop off ledge and throw a bear out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But and then because of that, like because I'm really comfortable against side B generally, like up B is like really nothing to be worried about for Falco.
Yeah, I agree.
With Fox, it's like I'm not even really thinking about side B as much as I'm just like concerned with like if I mess up hitting this fire Fox, he's gonna hit me. I'm gonna be in the corner, or like he's gonna go way past me and just like transition from being in recovery to like having center.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that if you're edge guarding well, that I think that never happens. I think there's one position where it happens, and it's like a 50-50 on whether it happens, but like every other edge guard position, I think if you play it well, that should probably never happen. And I think it's like it's a matter of like grabbing the edge at good timings. If you can grab the ledge right before the Fox starts moving during the up B, or like at least to more generally explain it, if you can like invincibly bear an up B potentially, so whatever the ledge grab timing is for that, then like edge guarding up B becomes way more trivial / like manageable. And I think that's like a really strong baseline to like think about when deciding how you want to go about edge guarding Fox up B. Because I think if you're not invincible, Fox up B is so difficult to edge guard. It's really, really hard to do it without either, you know, throwing away a position or just getting clipped and getting comboed to death. Yeah. But I think grabbing ledge at good timings is super important. And like one thing that's cool about the Ditto, or edge guarding Fox specifically, is that I think if you have a good like timing for the times when you're deciding to edge guard side B, so it's like, oh, I'm worrying about Fox potentially side Bing right now, so I'm gonna like try and react to it, and I'm looking for it. And then once you like, if you have a good sense of that, it's really clear when Fox is gonna like transition to upbeat, and the timings line up really well for you, like grabbing ledge, reacting to that position changing in that way. Does that make sense?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
once you get more into that,
Sometimes I'm like, I grab ledge and I'm like, they like they still have their jump and they aren't even like below the stage. Like they're above stage and I'm already on ledge.
yeah,
And so they can side B, jump, like they have shine stall and then jump, like, and me being on ledge here just kind of makes me like not super in a not super advantageous position
mm-hmm.
for like covering side plat or this, things like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way I see it is, you almost never have to grab ledge for side B. If you're gonna be grabbing ledge, it's probably because you're scared of, like, you're worrying about like up B, and you either don't want them to go to ledge or you want to get like an invincible aerial on them, and like using that to guide the timings that you do anything makes it so much more easy. Because it's like, I could just stay on stage if I think they're gonna side B or they can side B and have their double jump and stuff. I don't even have to worry about going to ledge.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, did you miss your short in here, or did you just? Yeah. Okay, cool.
At that spacing, 100%.
Yeah,
No way I'm not being there. Trying to hit them.
I agree. Oh, this is a big combo to hit. Getting the second up tilt here was good, but once you, on this DI specifically, you just have to do dash up smash.
Hashtag?
Dash up smash.
Oh, just up smash.
Yeah, just up smash. If you can do dash up smash, it's best because you're super close, so getting the combo after is better. But as long as you hit an up smash, I think that is what's important. I do have one thought about a lot of these up tilts is, I think that, like, while some of them are going good, when you generally use them to interact with Fox vertically, I think you're not necessarily accounting for the fact that, like, Fox has a lot of different timings that he can come down at. And I think that disrespecting it is a really easy way to, like, just throw away your stock. Because imagine, like, the Fox is full hopping and you read him doing, like, a fast fall drill or whatever, right? So you up tilt earlier, but he does no fast fall, and then you're getting drilled, right? And
Yeah.
just like how you said earlier, that's one of the things you're looking out for. So it's like, you don't want to give the thing that you don't want to give away an important opening for free, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's just important to know that it is like a high variance situation, and the risk reward isn't always necessarily in your favor.
I think when I'm close to a Fox, um, like I'm more liable to throw out standing hitboxes unintelligently.
Mhm.
Because like I said, like one of the things that I'm always trying to tell myself that I may not always be doing is just keep moving, keep dash dancing. And sometimes I'm like, why am I throwing out like standing hitboxes in here so many times? But it's more like if the Fox is like within a plat, like think of like the size of Battlefield side plat. If the Fox is like that close to me, I'm more likely to, like, rather than try to like dash around in any way, I'm probably gonna throw out a standing hitbox to try and like get them coming in.
No, yeah, that makes sense. I think that's a good thing to, like, recognize too. Knowing the problem or like a phenomenon generally makes it easier to engage with it.
In those situations, do you think it's more like I just kind of need to be more comfortable doing a tight dash dance when a Fox is close to me,
Yeah, I think it's that.
looking for full hop opportunities, or
I think you might have to change the way you think about it slightly, in that those spots are not spots where you hitting the Fox is like a given, or like a position where you got him. Those spots are like still like you haven't fully won the interaction yet, and so you have to still like lean into the like fact that you're trying to defend from Fox's high value things.
I more think about that spot as like they're gonna hit me when they're close.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more like my like defensive counterattack option is up tilt
Mm-hmm.
more than like they're gonna run. I'm not like they're gonna run into my up tilt. I'm like I might get hit here. I'm gonna throw this up tilt out and hopefully it catches what they're doing.
Yeah, in that case, I think that you should probably just recalibrate to like think of up tilt as a really, really, really risky and like specific decision, and then try and change your default to just like dashing, shielding, and like crouching, maybe full hop. I don't know. I don't necessarily like to say defaulting to full hop because it gets easy to like do it too
Spam it
much.
and get caught. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're full hopping too much and you're full hopping out of the corner every time, you're just gonna get caught with a back air.
yeah, yeah.
I think shield's a good. I think I need to be a bit more comfortable just kind of riding it out with shield, and I feel like against a fox that maybe is like slower, I'm a lot more comfortable like putting up my shield for a second if I think they're gonna come in, and if they don't, like wave dash in shine, kind of like how you would against a Falco after you
Mm-hmm.
kill a laser.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I think yeah, I think shielding and just dash dancing more is a thing, but
I
yeah,
agree.
okay,
Cool. And you kind of see how it happens with this up tilt, where it's like the verticality was definitely there. Like he was high enough up, but oh man, up tilt just kind of coincidentally lost, and now you're getting fair at 73%, and this is knockdown percent. You could get comboed, and you get grabbed, waveland up smashed, you're dead. You know. Now you get out, obviously, but I
no,
think
no,
yeah,
the corners look open.
yeah,
Air
yeah,
Fox really hit me harder off that.
yeah. Um, I think that you were in this position, you were definitely reacting. So it's like, nair, you hit the shine, you wave shine forward. But then it's like, here's another spot where I think thinking ahead is something that like is missing. Because what I see when I do this shine after the full hop nair is I'm like, okay, wave shine forward, and I'm thinking I'm shining. I don't think it's gonna hit, and you kind of realize that's not going to hit during your wave dash, and then it's like, what are the things that he would be doing? He'd, be defending himself, right? He'd be rolling, he'd be dashing back, he'd be full hopping the side platform, right? It's like the likelihood of him being in this spot for that long of a time is really, really unlikely, right?
Yeah.
And that's like these kind of spots where you do something committal that like wasn't the most accurate. These are the spots where it's like thinking ahead is that's what makes it important. Because if if you were like not worried about shining here, you'd see him like full hopping and then be like, oh, he's just full hopping on side platform. I guess I'm just gonna run the center stage, or I'm gonna like maybe pressure him from below the platform or something like that, right? Like you could play you could play the situation in a way that like ends up being a lot better for you overall.
It's funny, as I'm watching this, I'm like, wow, I really don't put myself in the other Fox's shoes enough, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a funny thing as a Fox main.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
like I'm looking at that, and you're like, I guess the thing that I'm thinking of is like maybe they'll shield, and I could like get some sort of shield thing off of Shine, and it's just like I'm not shielding there, like like I wouldn't
mm-hmm.
shield there. Why would this person be shielding there?
Yeah. Oh. This is one of the tech chases where I think you kind of talked about like dash dancing to make it like difficult for them. But like at the end of the day, I think dash dancing makes it harder for you. How hard it is to hit like that, JC grab
Yeah,
on the
grab. Yeah.
yeah, it's like this is like you don't know where you're at exactly in your dash dance and you have to like adjust on the spot. That's difficult. But like imagine if once you like got to this position, you just ran forward as fast as you can and like crouched right here.
I think I need to. One thing that some other foxes do that I think would feel more natural for me than like dash crouching is just wave dashing down.
I think also wave dashing down's a great thing to do there because you just
Yeah,
cover tech in immediately, right?
yeah, I cover tech in immediately, and like I come to a complete stop.
Yep.
I find myself when I try to dash crouch, especially at a percent let I'm at, I will not properly do it and get hit by a get up attack when I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to space for a tech chase. And I think wave I'm a big like I'm constantly like if you just watch my fox in all matchups, I love wave dashing in and out of my dash dance just as a neutral tool to kind of like mix up what way I'm facing and things like that, and not just be dashing.
Yeah.
I think wave dash down would be a more maybe natural option for things like this.
And I think that's a really good option. I think it would work well. And worst case, Fox rolls away or neutral get ups, and you still pressure him. It's like, wow, what a good position to happen, anyways, right?
Yeah, yeah. If he goes the other way in that position, he's in the corner, and I can just I have a lot of things I could do there.
Yeah. Oh, here's another spot where the up tilt was kind of like, I got to defend myself from like them hitting me. But like instead of like, imagine if you're dashing here, you dash away. This full hop's bad. He has no drift. He can't do anything. He's just full hopping in place, right? You
Yeah,
could
I can
just
make it
pressure his
back
landing super bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pressure is landing, or he goes on side plat, and I could probably just dash dance back air him.
Yeah, right. It's like no matter what happens, you get to center stage for free, guaranteed. You can either full hop over him and bear the other side, or he goes to side platform and you're full hopping past them and bearing him here, right? It's like you always just kind of get to center stage.
Yeah, always these situations where they're kind of close, and I'm just like panic up tilt.
Yeah, and I think those situations are hard. That's what I mean. That's like what makes playing against Fox in general difficult is the close spots. He's super fast, and you have to like be accurate, right? It's not easy.
Accurate. Every hitbox is good. Like,
Yes.
how do I get nared, back aired, fared, up aired, grab? Like, there's not like really a bad choice for Fox too, which is another thing that yeah, I think I
Oh.
was trying to like laser maybe like I do think that the laser was definitely on purpose. I think maybe the double jump. I don't know exactly what went wrong here, but this was definitely kind of like a brain it was maybe kind of like laser, land on plat, wave dash off side plat to ledge would be my guess.
Hmm.
But either way, kind of like a bad calculation on like how long the Fox would be in hit lag.
Yeah, I think both that and a mixture of knowing like whether he could actually make it back to stage with side B or not, or like ledge with it. Because I
Yeah.
think,
Also, I think I might have been reacting to the side B animation and tried to like turn around, drop, and back air, and
mhm.
just kind of like messed up a little bit because I think that up smash is like a complete like blah like whiff. Like I'm not doing
Yeah,
up smash positions.
yeah, I think that one thing that I do have to say is doing drop through platform bear on reaction to side B doesn't actually really work that well because it takes a long time to actually drop through the platform because you have to spend like the frames crouching and then falling through and you're not fast falling, right? And it's like it's pretty slow. And so then like doing that on reaction to side B is pretty fast, so a lot of the time it'll go right past you. Now in this position, I think if you had better tech skill, it would have worked, but that's because he was literally max length, right? You had the maximum amount of time for it to work. So that like kind of says something where it's like if it only works because it's the absolute most amount of time for it to work, probably doesn't actually work all that often.
Yeah, I don't think I'm typically like trying to stand on platform to cover side B.
Yeah.
I just think that's more like communicating what I was actually trying to do here.
Mm-hmm. No, that
But
makes
yeah,
sense.
I agree. I'm typically if I'm thinking about how to cover side B, sometimes I'll try to like bait it out and do kind of like the chic nair thing where I'll dash off stage and then jump back with like a fade back nair,
Yeah.
and then like turn around and grab ledge if they don't side B and try to fire Fox. Um, so like I'm typically doing like up till I would say that like fade back nair after running off stage, or a short hop back air. Those
Yep.
are my like cover side B options, just so you know.
I think those are good cover side B options. I think relying most on short hop bear is good because it's the most reactive out of those. Well, I think up tilt's reactive, but up tilt hits up, and I think hitting them back is pretty good.
Yeah, sometimes like even though a lot of times you get that up tilt, you get that back air off stage again, they'll end up a lot higher versus like if you get that short hop back air, they're just kind of like below stage and it's Armada Shine time.
Yeah, it's like they're probably dead anyways if you hit that bear. But when you up tilt, you bear, they're high up. You play a drift mix up that you didn't need to play, and then maybe they live because something went wrong along the way.
Yeah, and after they get up tilted, they're always going to be DIing like correctly.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mr. Dash Up Smash.
Yeah.
Backer, nice. No, you had no reason to dash forward here. You could always just like go off the right side of the platform because it's really hard to hit right here. You know how much like they have to run all the way to right here to hit this spot, you know?
Yeah.
And they're worried about you being anywhere here, right? So I think running off the side plat in spots like these really good. You could also full hop in place. That's probably what I would have done. Is I'd full hop in place and then be like, oh, now since they did this, I'm coming down on top of them as their like invincibility is ending, and it's like pretty awkward / difficult for them.
Yeah, I think I'd probably just go like probably a bit of a oh shit I missed my wave dash
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. But I agree with all those options. Yeah. I do remember that happening when I looked at this game earlier.
Yeah, you can't really do it like that. If you're gonna like read neutral get up, you just have to stand here, and then once you see them start like doing a movement, you don't check if it's neutral get up or not. You just see that they start like doing a get up option, you run up and grab. And that's what the timing is for reading mistech neutral get up.
Yeah.
But then once you dash back, it's like, because you dash back because you're like, oh, what if he rolls in? But it's like, you can't do it all. You pick one.
Part of me feels like I was dashing back because I was like, mate, I'm a little close.
I think you were far enough away for roll in to not roll in. The thing about roll in is towards the end of it, he's going slow enough to where he won't actually roll past you. He'll just push you back a little bit. That's like a bit of baby nuance, but you're pretty like you're far enough away for it to be fine, I think.
Yeah.
Worst case, you turn around. Which
well, that's also kind of this is a situation that kind of illustrates what I was saying about like wave dash down is like sometimes like these like those there's like a very specific length that I feel like I'm like really accurate at getting those tech chases, but my dash dance isn't tight enough to put me there. Where like if I wave dash down like rather than getting that tiny bit of slide at the end, visually my brain will like be like content with my position, and like the slightest drift forward, like I'm like, oh, is he gonna like get up? I know I'm at low percent, but I'm thinking like, am I like the tiniest bit in get up attack range? Am I like, I think I really need to start implementing wave dash down. But
I agree.
Just tech chase, more tech chase, like visual recognition is just important.
Yeah. Here's another spot where up tilt kind of goes awkward.
Fails me.
Yeah, and it's like you'd get the tech, but you're both teching. It'd be frame neutral, right? And I don't think it's worth betting on it.
Oh, that's a good tech.
Again, here's another spot where it's like he's mistech, and you kind of like don't know exactly what you need to be doing, and so you like end up whiffing, and now you might die for it. Yeah, I guess you don't, but you definitely could have up smash. That was not a good edge guard by him. So it worked out. I'm actually curious. Yeah, man, whatever, it's fine. Oh, here's another spot where it's like foresight. I think there's a world.
Oh, he's always gonna instant jump there.
Yeah, it takes a good player to like sweet spot there, like a very good player to realize that they need to like double jump sweet spot. And like what you did would have covered that, but I don't think it's worth hedging your bets on that against the player that isn't very high level,
Yeah.
Because look at the position you're in now. You're shining, double jumping past them. This is just really not it,
Yeah, that drill shine is like pretty much like a prayer.
Yeah, and I feel like if the Fox
and also off of that shine, like no one wants a shine in that position. Like I just push him to center with like and make him actionable because of his percent,
Yeah, definitely.
Like the shine is really like winning me anything.
I agree. And you're dead? No way.
I did? I'm probably okay.
Definitely did not. Okay, we could talk about him doing this edge guard because it's important to realize like ledge grab stuff. It's like he had no reason to grab ledge that early. If you were to grab ledge that early, it would be because you doing double jump side B to ledge was like a prominent thing he had to worry about, right? But guess what?
Yeah.
After the double shine, you're so low down, there's no way you could double jump and be even with ledge. It's just not possible, right? And so that means the only option is for you to up B. And so he could just grab ledge as late as possible. He could just wait until he sees you up B and wave dash back to ledge, and it sets up the timing perfectly, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then, since he didn't do that, he had to double jump in a way that he was like, well, fuck, I don't want to get hit by up B because I don't have invincibility. So he drifts onto the stage, it doesn't really go deep with it, and then he's in this spot where, like, he can't actually cover you, you know, like, falling to ledge. But imagine if you grab the ledge a little bit later, what he gets to do is he grabs ledge later, he gets to do, like, drop back shine, and then react to the up B angle if the shine doesn't hit, and then, like, do a delayed bear to hit like you up here, you know?
Yeah. That drill.
Oh.
The ledge dash.
I don't think this was very good either. I think once you get him in this position, you don't want to be here, you want to be here. Because if you're right here, if he did instant ledge dash, you're getting hit.
Yeah, that's a good. Okay, so in general, is that where I want to stand when I'm playing against a fox that's gonna come off and ledge dash?
Yeah, if you're worried about, if you want to be safe against him ledge dashing, you stand about right here where this line is, a little like around here.
And then what if there's someone who ledge dash nairs?
I mean that's part of the mix-up. You either are moving further back in like bearing, or full hopping over it in bearing, or right like, but like you can do that from this spot, right? You could dash back, and then full hop over an aerial or bear, and
Yeah,
whatever they're near.
actually, yeah. If I'm standing there, I could probably like do a little dash back, and like if they come at me with a nair, maybe like whiff punish that, or if they do like ledge dash up tilt, I can kind of just like play center with my dash back.
Yeah. Yep.
Once I see that come up, because up tilt is pretty laggy.
Yeah. Or you could, from this position, he does ledge dash up tilt, you're full hopping, you get to bear him, right? Or you could be dash dancing here and read up tilt and literally dash dance up smash it or whatever. And that's like totally valid. But like this is like the baseline spot. You could do everything you need to do from this spot safely, which I think is important to know. And you could do that from this position just by short hopping back and falling to the platform, right?
Yeah.
But then once you're here, it's like, well, fuck. I don't. You're in the zone. You're in the attack zone, so you're like, I guess I have to like attack, right? I don't want to like, get hit. I have to do something.
Yeah, that F smash is like a clear overextension. It's honestly F smash is a read that I go for that I feel like I can do efficiently against specific people.
Mm-hmm.
But like I wanted to play him because he's not someone I'm playing like every week. So I don't know exactly what he likes. And like that F smash is like a remnant of something that like I do against specific foxes that I play all the time that like I'm bringing into a fox where I don't have the prerequisite knowledge to like throw them.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely like a hard read. It's not like a normal, I'm just playing the mix up. It's like you're going for a read.
No, yeah, that's like I know that this person is gonna like come on in an aerial and not refresh, or like I know they're gonna hit like a fake ass ledge dash.
Yeah, definitely. And away. Okay. I think there's a lot of parts of the neutral that you're playing well. I think it's just really the defensive positions are the ones that you're gonna have to sit down and look at and be like, forget about being scared, because at the end of the day, if you get hit, you get hit. It doesn't. That's just how it is. And just you should look at them, back when watching the VOD and be like, what is a decision I should do here that would beat this option, or what is like something that's generally safe that works, right? Change the way that you're like thinking about them to not be like, oh, this is a panic, a scramble option. It's just another situation.
Yeah.
It's just a situation, and you have things you do in situations normally, right?
Yeah. I think Fox is one of those characters that gets a bit more brings out a bit more caginess in me.
Mm-hmm.
just because I don't know. I don't think it's cause I'm a fox. I just think it's cause it's fox. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I think
fox.
Fox is just hard to play against.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah. Are there any? I was gonna ask. Do you know of any like good like edge guard like safe states or like ways to sort of set up good like edge guard practice or like maybe like good like platform tech chase practices?
Well, I don't really
Those I
have
think would be things.
I don't really have edge guard save states. I think you should just watch players like Leffen, Greg Fox, Big Shin for seeing like the flowcharts. I think Leffen and Drug Fox have the best like flowcharts for edge guarding in the Ditto. Leffen is a bit more ledge grab happy, which I kind of disagree with. But otherwise, I think when he's playing well, he's really good at edge guarding. And Drug Fox he puts a lot on like making sure side B doesn't like doesn't not get edge guarded, and then obviously has a flowchart for hitting up Bs. So I like watching those two for edge guarding. I can't say much about safe states. And then for like a platform tech chase, you don't need a safe state. You could just go into the combo training and set them to 30% and then make it where like maybe they know DI and then you practice doing falling up air that hits tech in place and then doing the falling up air enchaining their tech to like away and then practicing doing the falling up air and then also true tech chasing like tech away, right? And then you could just like either do that on specific DIs and techs or just have it be true random and reacting to everything, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Was
Yeah.
there anything you noticed like punish tree wise that you thought was like a bad decision, or was it more of my like really just the up tilt side? Like the up tilts was the biggest thing that I come away from this being like that those are bad.
I think the big things are setting up your position for tech chasing. Definitely practice getting comfortable doing run up crouch. It is just like an invaluable option. And then also, practice wave dashing down and like being aware of the spacing and knowing whether you can get there or not. Um,
Mm,
Comboing off of up tilt at low percents, it's difficult, but if you react to the DI as well, you can hit everything. Double up tilting DI in, um, up tilt up
regrab for
smashing.
DI.
Yeah, you could do up tilt regrab on like no DI or like up tilt up smash, like I said on no DI, or you could do up tilt tech chase on DI away, right? And like making sure
Yeah,
you could do that at lower percents where it knocks down still.
that's something I look for a lot. I look for a lot of times with those lower percents. Like, I'll throw out a lot of falling up airs and like falling up air regrab, or maybe if I hit like an up air on like top plat and they're on low percent,
Mhm.
I'll go for a regrab. Um, so yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then practice shining out a shield. There's a few times where you missed it that I didn't explicitly point it out, but practice actually
Yeah,
reacting to like the timing the fox is doing the aerial and shining out a shield.
yeah, yeah. I definitely want to become a wave shine at a shield fox, but it's just like
It's hard.
I'm like there's so much more tech skill that could be cleaned up before I need to be like doing that
I
all day.
definitely agree. I think as long as you can just hit a shine, maybe it's not even grounded every single time. It doesn't matter. As long as the shine is coming out, that's like what's important. Because there's a
Yeah,
lot of foxes that are just doing horrible pressure on shield. That at least should get them like pressured, right? They shouldn't just get away with it.
at least get like put in a knockdown into a mix up.
Yeah, like just at least make them pay for it,
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah. That's one of those. Dude, I just every time I see a fox like wave shining out of shield efficiently, I'm like, dude, in a year, it's gonna be so nice when I can hit those. You know, that's where I'm at. I know it's not. It's like one of those things like walk before you can run, but
No, I definitely. I mean, I've put so many hours into wave showing on a shield. I was doing it back when I was bad. It's like it's cool and it's good. It's fun. So I totally get it.
hmm
Well, that's all I got. Do you have any thoughts or questions, or do you think this all works for you and makes sense?
no, it all works for me and makes sense. I don't know. I may I may want to park in the Ditto for a little while. Is what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling after a couple of weeks. Like, I just kind of want to get to a place. I don't know. Like, I guess like just like the scope of like the way my state looks is like there's just a lot of really good foxes that just like all kind of like we all trade sets and like none of a few of us I don't have a PR win yet. A few of them are like getting PR wins. A few of them are everyone's taking sets off each other in the Ditto,
Hmm.
and there's just like a bunch of us. And I really think like an important thing for like the short term goal of like getting PR'd is being just a cut above them all in the Ditto.
I agree.
Because the two foxes that are PR'd that aren't Cobalt are just insane at the Ditto.
Hmm.
Really good. We have a really good box fox Audrey, who's I hit up to play all the time, and I just get like shat on for 30 minutes.
Hmm.
And then our other fox is Jet, VBL, who's like the fastest controller fox that I've ever played. Um, but they're both just like really insane short hop, like Ditto, like masters
Yeah.
of like taking games off of. Audrey's taken like sets off of Colin. I think Audrey took like two last season, which is kind of crazy.
Damn.
But yeah, so that's just kind of like there's just so much like if you're a fox in this state and you want to like push that boundary, like you're gonna have to worry about the Ditto.
Hmm.
All of us have like different matchup weaknesses across the PR, but like everyone's like decent at the Ditto, but no one's like really good except for the ones that are PR'd.
Yeah.
So I would love to make this my comfort matchup. It would make a lot of my brackets like on a weekly basis feel a lot better.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep putting work into this and kind of make it my priority. Um, Even though like I'm weaker in the floaties, I think I'll
Benefit a
enjoy the
lot
game.
more by doing
Yeah,
Fox. I agree. I think if you can get good at the spacey matchups, uh, you could make it through major brackets pretty easily a lot more often than if you're like, time to sit down and work on Sheik and Marth. It's like, okay.
yeah.
Spaces
I
are
would
just so
love
prevalent.
I would love to make it out of pools that tipped off, but it's gonna be so fucking top heavy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be so like there. It's crazy because it's like I think it's gonna be like probably like what like 150 200 people. Like it gets capped around that range, and then it's
Damn.
gonna be like or maybe a little more than that. I'm not 100% sure, but it's not going to be like a huge amount of people. But there's already like 30 top 100 people registered. So it's going to be like a fifth or like a sixth of like the player base's top 100. And then you have all the people who are like upper level PR and all of like the southeast and stuff that are just coming. And so like pools for people is going to be really like sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at a major, yeah. So far, I've gone to two majors, and at Big House, I didn't do that good because it was my first one. I had only been entering tournaments for like 5 or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I went like I think 1 and 2 or 2 and 2, and then I think I went 4 and 2 at Genesis in January, and I was like 2 sets out of pools from making it out of pools on losers.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Happens.
Making that up majors is definitely a big goal, but I feel like once I'm PR in Georgia, because we're a decently strong region, I think those two goals will kind of sync up simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
But yeah, don't want to hold you too long. I know we're a little after, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Right, man.
Well, cool. Good luck in the Ditto.
Yeah.
You definitely have people to play against, and I think just playing it and watching top foxes play it and kind of like picking up at the small spots where like fox actually gets hit and using that to guide how you feel about it and how you try and like guide your gameplay. I think it'll make progress for sure.
Yeah, I got to look at a lot of these like small interactions that reoccur a lot.
Yeah.
A bit more in a bit more detail.
I think that's the secret. That and being good at tech chasing off shine, the secrets to beating any fox, honestly.
Yeah.
Those are the ones
yeah,
that matter. Those are the situations that like make the difference.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm feeling good for this being the first lesson about the Ditto, and it's good to know that like it's closer to Falcon where I'm not as lost. We're not
Yeah.
spending as much time on every interaction like with Puff.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, well, have a good rest of your week. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Yeah, you too.
Peace.